Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Okay. Next, I'm opening a public hearing for the budget fiscal year ending June 2018.
You all have previously been given a couple copies of this. If you want another copy tonight, I've got some here. But it's exactly the budget that we reviewed in detail, and then we reviewed again the synopsis of it at our meeting last month, and we did run a legal advertisement of the budget.
Is there any comments for the budget?
I'd really like to see, last year when Long John shut down, and we kind of, where the council kind of made up for that with taking paving out of the budget. It was kind of my understanding. And it's not, there's nothing for paving at all in the budget again for this year. I'd just like to propose some potential cuts to the current budget that's in front of us. It's not going to change the bottom line numbers any. It's just going to be a little bit of shifting of the numbers. One thing would be the auto decals and receipts. Right now, there's $2,175 budgeted for that. We buy a 6-color decal with custom graphic designs in it, and that costs us about $1,000 a year. We can get a bicolor individually numbered inside the window mount. Same way, it's simply 2 colors. You can get 1,000 of them for $600. Also, we don't have to buy the receipt books this year. The way I understood it, we just bought those just a month or two ago. Is that right, Jim?
Yes.
And that would be another $1,400 that could come off the budget. So we could cut auto and decal receipts from $2,175 to $600. Also, I feel that we should cut our advertising to only the necessary required legal advertising. That would save us $600. I also propose that we remove landscaping from the budget completely. If we don't have money to pave people's streets who need them, then I really don't feel that we should be spending money on landscaping. Another one would be donations. Again, if we can't pave people's streets that need to be paved and that are in ill repair, I don't see that we have the money to give away to people. And I understand they're all perfectly good organizations. I don't have any questions about where the donations are going. It's just that we had to put the people of Cedar Bluff first. These cuts would be could shift $8,075 over to contract paving to take care of some of the paving projects that we have, that we need to do. And I would make that motion, that we make those changes in the proposed budget.
I make the motion to pass the budget.
I had a motion on the floor. I was asking, do you have a second on his?
I mean, I just made the motion. I would second it if I could, but I
The motion's
can't.
on the
So.
floor. Is there a second? Okay. If there's no more public comments, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Do I hear a motion to adopt the annual budget for the
I make
fiscal
the
year?
motion.
Second.
Okay. Kenny?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
All right, we'll move on to public comments.
I would like to do last, if
Okay.
that's possible.
You might be,
Let these other people speak first. But whatever.
I think you're probably the only one, so we'll let you go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm here representing the American Dental Association, the American Medical Association, on fluoride in the water. And I didn't realize there'd be so many of you here. So we'd have to skip. You'd have to share right there, please. Mr. Jim, would you want to read that, please, sir, out loud?
I
And if there are
can.
any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Okay, this was a letter written by Dr. Adair to the editor. Common sense was totally absent at Richlands Town Council meeting on May 9th concerning fluoride in the water supply. I was not present, but was informed by phone and reliable sources that 3 council members and the mayor voted to not put fluoride in Richlands water supply. Mary Ann Strong, Vicki England, and Rob Curry voted to keep it, but a sad, unprogressive day for Richlands. Instead of being the most progressive town in 3 counties, we're now behind the times. Too much air leads to pneumonia, too much water leads to drowning, too much sugar leads to diabetes, too much salt leads to blood clot, stroke, and heart failure. Yet in the proper common sense ratio, these are all necessary to sustain life. Fluoride in the ratio of 1 gallon per 1 million gallons of water is a great health asset. Fluoride is laid down inside the tooth to make the tooth more resistant to the most common disease known to mankind, that being tooth decay. With proper care, our teeth outlast the rest of our body. 15% of digestion takes place in the mouth if the teeth are healthy. Unhealthy or no teeth places a great strain on the gastrointestinal system. Teeth also hold our jaws in the proper place. The loss of teeth results in joint problems where the lower jaw is attached to the skull. The American Medical Association, the American Dental Association have been monitoring and promoting fluoride in the water supply for 60+ years. Prevention is cheaper and more effective. Fluoride in the water is preventive. So who do you believe, those against fluoride or the American Medical and Dental Associations? Thank you for publishing this, and please keep our citizens informed of future council decisions. In closing, the disrespect shown to Dr. Glenn Harrison was a black mark on our community. Signed, Joe Adair.
Are there any questions? Okay, you folks are the cream of the crop of our fine town. And I was born in this area. I'm 86 years old. I've lived in this area except for 7 years away at school, 2 years in the Air Force in North Africa, and 16 other countries over there. I have never seen our economy as low as it is. Business is going out. Anytime you lose Long John Silver's and Kentucky Fried Chicken in a period of 10 days, you're in trouble. We need help. We need to use our brains. When people look at our area, they look at 3 things. They look, of course, at our school system, and our school system is good. They look at health care, and we have a great hospital and good physicians up at the clinic at Claypool Hill. They also look at recreation, and we're good there. But we are behind the times when you go to health care when you do not have fluoride in your water system, because it is preventive. I'm sure you're familiar with rat poison. Rat poison is used in the human body in a proper dilution for people that have thick blood, because thick blood leads to blood clots, leads to stroke, leads to heart attack. So there again is common sense. Proverbs speaks very well many times about common sense. The wise man is known by his common sense. Every situation that you encounter in life has a plan, but it also has a reaction. And the reaction of it not having fluoride in our water puts us behind the times. I would hope that you folks will think about this very seriously, and before you leave tonight, I would hope you turn your vote around 180 degrees and vote for fluoride in the water. Has Richlands put pressure on you all about fluoride in the water? Has it? How did you, what caused you to decide against it? All of this, the American Dental and Medical Association have been promoting this for 60 years. Prevention is the answer to most all health problems. It's quicker, it's easier, it's cheaper. You don't get the flu and then take a flu shot. You take the flu shot first. And in my growing up, well, of course, various and sundry diseases were discovered, so to speak, and you took vaccination for typhoid, this and that and everything, but you did that in hopes that you wouldn't get the disease. So I really don't understand. You folks are the cream of the crop. I don't understand your reasoning on this. Give me a reason.
Well, Doc, my thinking was, the reason I voted no fluoride was the children don't get the water out of the spigot. like we did growing up. They get it out of the bottle.
Okay,
Most water the kids can come in contact with us then times probably when they're in a bathtub.
okay,
That's my thinking. I don't think they're taking it orally.
okay,
I just don't think they get the benefit that I got because of the fact of bottled water.
okay.
And how many kids drink bottled water? Probably not that many. Even your Similac and stuff like that, when they're children, babies, it's all pre-mixed, pre-done. There ain't no water goes in it.
Okay,
I just don't think they're exposed to the water that comes out of that spigot like our generation was.
that would be a factor. The Washington Post, of course, is a very reliable source, and they don't print anything until they've researched it thoroughly. 75% of America's on fluoridated water. The 25% that are not are rural areas. They're on well or cistern water. And this is a quote from the said, this is talking about some people on the eastern shore of Maryland, which is very rural and very poor, but it says, in these rural areas, even the water can work against people. Many homes, including this young lady's home, rely on well water. Unlike water from public systems, well water is not fluoridated. Nationwide, 25% of Americans are not connected to a fluoridated water system, and therefore are missing out on what the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention call one of the 10 great health advances of the 20th century. How can you be against that? That's gospel.
That's
I really don't understand
statistics,
your-
that's the statistics. Like I said, my thinking was what I told you.
Okay, but
I
that,
just don't think that the children growing up get the benefit of the water out of the spigot as you did, the exposure to it. It was new and it was good. But I just don't feel like the children, I mean, let's go out there and look at the children on the streets. I just don't see them drinking water out of the faucet like we did. That was our main source. That was our only source, except for wells and stuff.
sure. Well, that's a point, but that,
But the main thing about it is, and it ain't for good. Surely advances of a whole lot of stuff ain't for the good. But I just don't think that the benefit of it is there as it was, let's say, 20 years ago, or before bottled water got the spin, the takeoff on it. Now that's, and I'm not making an argument, I'm just making my statement.
sure, I can understand
Or
that.
you can call it an argument.
Our area, of course, is not growing, like I said previously. Old folks like me, young folks that have 2 or 3 children, making $9 and $10 an hour. To take out a tooth now is $100 and some dollars. If you can prevent that down the line, and of course, like the statement says, well, our mouth certainly is hooked to the rest of our body. If you have diseases in the mouth, you're in trouble in the rest of your body. So the bottom line is, I just don't, I don't follow your reasoning in not wanting to promote fluoride in the water. Would you all consider voting tonight before you leave?
It's not on the agenda.
Sir?
It's not on the agenda. We ordinarily don't take an item and vote on it if you're not prepared.
Tell me when to come back then. We'll put it on the agenda.
Well, I
And
mean,
I don't understand you, you're in the healthcare field. If anybody ought to be for it, ought to be you.
I'm not prepared to debate it. Your last line of your letter, I mean, you're my neighbor, my friend, I don't want.
Sir?
The last line of your letter does not open any need for debate for this. But I watched that program on
Okay.
television of Glenn Harrison's debate, but I didn't see any great disrespect to Glenn. All I saw was people exchanging ideas with him.
Okay.
And your letter says they disrespected him by disagreeing. And that doesn't really open up.
Well, I didn't say by disagreeing, I just said.
I didn't see the disrespect,
Okay.
but I did see the others were prepared to discuss this in a way that they felt was legitimate.
Okay.
And he had a good presentation, but I didn't see them disrespect him because they just didn't say yes.
But a scientist, you know, with enough money and enough time can almost prove black is white. And some of them, you know, that was their argument. They had the basis of against fluoride. And it is a poison unless it's, you know, diluted in the proper ratio. But, well, tell me when to come back.
Dr. Adair, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
My question is the equipment there at the water plant in Richlands, is the equipment up to date to where it can properly?
No, and I'd say that's probably the factor. That's, it would cost about $40,000. But what you could do, because Richlands serves you all, part of Buchanan County, part of Russell County, what you could do would be add $1 to everybody's water bill for a month or so, and you'd have the money to put in new equipment. Also, there would be grants out there for a town the size of Richlands. So there are two ways to come about it. I really think the money problem is, and I'm going to Richlands.
That would be the step they would have to take.
Sure,
I mean,
oh, absolutely.
But that was why I voted against it. I don't think the equipment's properly, it's up to date to properly to distribute it through the water system.
That's very true.
And there was one town in Virginia that, or maybe, I may not quoting it right, but
Okay.
anyway, there were one town that the people got poisoned on because the equipment didn't properly
Well,
distribute the
that's
fluoride.
that's understandable, because it is a rat poison, for
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, so, you know, if they can bring the equipment and stuff up to date, I don't have no problem with it.
Well,
I mean, if they can be properly, you know,
that's what
dispensed,
they would have to do.
if it can be properly dispensed, I would have no problem with it.
If they can do that without passing the increased cost on to us, because that'll affect our constituents as well.
Well, it will.
That was a major consideration.
Okay.
Tell me, 60 years ago when it was first introduced, was fluoride already in toothpaste? I have a 16-month-old grandson. He doesn't have a lot of teeth right now, but he gets them brushed very, very often with
Okay.
fluoride toothpaste.
Okay.
And he has a lot more, that's more exposure than he would get with water, because he drinks a lot of milk and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So,
Well, in toothpaste and mouthwash, it just coats the outside. In water, it's ingested and informed on the inside of the tooth. Both are important. Both help. That's the reason when you go to the dentist, they ask you to have a cleaning, they say, well, do you want a fluoride? And it's worth the money. But it's more important to have it in the water than it is to have it in toothpaste and in a mouthwash.
I mean, I would be willing to relook at it. If you can get Richlands to relook at bringing that equipment up to date.
Well,
I'll pass
I'm
that
going to
on.
see them again. They haven't seen the last of them.
All right. All right, then, we'll get it on the agenda.
So tell me when to come back here.
Well, the thing of it is, you know, we appreciate you coming, and it's just.
Well, I've taken a lot of your time.
Oh, no, that's
Now,
fine. I
I'll
want
be
you to,
quiet.
we got a lot of respect for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
And we'll just take it, you know, everything you said, we'll take it under advisement, and these guys will get together, and if they agree to put it on the agenda, then I'll let you know when we put it on.
That would be great. Thank you all so
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Hello there, Mr. Jim Singleton. How are you, sir?
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting.
Dr. Adair, you want your articles back?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Y'all just stay around and,
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
He said what he had to say, he's ready to go on.
okay, any more public comments? Okay. Want to move on, Linda Singleton,
Okay.
come on.
Well, I have a lot of things to cover tonight about our historic and beautiful town. I want to start, I guess, by talking a little bit about our Cedar Bluff Heritage Festival. We're very excited about that. We've already surpassed our vendors for this upcoming festival in September. By the way, September the 16th, mark it on your calendars. Want to see all your smiling faces here. We are very happy to show off our town. We have thousands of people that come. They love our beautiful trees, our beautiful landscaping we have, the flowers. They always comment on them. And by the way, the Cedarville Business and Professional Association did buy the flowers that you see when you go up and down the street, and also the potting soil out there. The business professional did buy that, and also some of it was donated. So anyway, we are very proud of our community. We can't wait to show it off. And getting back again to the trees and the bushes that you see here in town, our garden club ladies that was here in town, you'll see rose bushes in different places here. And these rose bushes were planted by ladies that love flowers and love landscaping. And that's what really shows off our community when they come through our historic town. And that's what we want, because we want them to come back and to visit us. So anyway, getting back to festival, we are very excited about it. It's going to be wonderful, and we've got everything lined up for it for this year for all these visitors that will be coming. Last month, the Business Professional Association gave a donation to the Cedar Bluff Fire Department, and we were very happy to do that. Sharon couldn't be here tonight because she's been doing the voter thing today, and she said to tell you that we were so happy to be able to do that. We had a ribbon cutting also for a new insurance company that was here in town, and the Business and Professional Association gave them a plan, and we welcomed them to our community, and they are so happy to be here. This is owned by Jeff McCracken. It's Eagles Landing Insurance Company. We were happy to have our mayor there, and also our town manager here, Mr. Shepherd, came down, and we were happy to have you on. Also, our Board of Supervisor member, John Ashner, was there also. So anyway, we did that, and then we had another ribbon cutting just yesterday. And I just think that's wonderful when we can have new businesses come to our community. And so that brings more visitors into our community to look at our beautiful trees and flowers and bushes. So we're just real excited to welcome them, and we had our mayor there, Jim McLaughlin there, and also John was there. And we had a ribbon cutting, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful day to welcome our new business. We're real excited about that. Something else that we are talking about, and I have two gentlemen that love old cars, actually three gentlemen that love old cars, and we're talking about maybe doing a car show and having music one night, have a food vendor out here, and just having a nice get together. Maybe we can close off the street out here and be able to do that. So anyway, we're looking for a date maybe in July. And so we're excited about maybe doing that. So I think Mayor and Jim have some things they want to talk about with you all later that we've also been meeting about. But the Business and Professional Association represents you all, and we try to do our best to make you proud and to represent the town of Cedar Bluff. But we thank you, council, for your support of this. And also tonight, something that we want to do, we have a check from the Cedar Bluff Business and Professional Association. If our police would come forward, please, and we'd like to present this to you all this evening. And we need to get a picture, Jimbo, of this for the town. We are so proud of our police, and we thank you all for all that you do. You help us during the festival, and it's not easy. I tell you, with all the thousands of people that come to this community, it's not easy to do this. So tonight, we'd like to present with you all with this check. Let's get it back this way, I guess, so that Jim can get a picture, one on one side and one on the other. And so thank you very, very much for being our police department. Thank you so much.
Turn it that way once.
Karen's got some too, she's got.
Okay.
Got it, Jimbo?
Got it.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, cut the picture, take a check back.
Thank you all so much. We appreciate you all and all that you do.
And thank you, Linda. We really
You're welcome.
appreciate
Thank you.
You wanna touch on that a little bit?
it. On the
On the
river,
kayak. Well, yeah, we can. We can touch on that. We met this week. I don't have the notes with me though on that. Do y'all have any notes on that meeting? You know, the river plays a very big part in our community here. And we just feel very fortunate to be here where we're at. We are talking with a gentleman. His name is
Rick Barton.
Barton.
Rick Barton.
Yes, and he does kayaking. And he also has floatables and things like that you can get in the river out here and go kayaking. And our mayor just did that with his family. How was it?
It was wonderful.
Oh,
Blast.
a blast.
That was great.
And he had a lot of other people that joined in with him on this adventure, and they're real excited about it. So we're taking a day, and we're inviting people, the community, to come in, put their kayaks in, put their inflatables in, or they can rent them if they want to, and just have a fun day. And they can float on down to Critterville, or they can go on down to, if they want to, down to the doctor's office, which is Washington Square. And so we're gonna be advertising that, but it just sounds like it'd be a lot of fun for all ages, anyone that wants to get out there in the river. And I know you all had a blast. I enjoyed listening to y'all talk about
It
it.
was great.
And so we're gonna be working with him on that, but anyway, we want to touch base with you all about that, okay?
Be a lot of fun.
It will be fun. Do y'all have any questions?
No, but I do have a comment. I want to thank you on behalf of the Cedar Bluff Fire Department. I know that you've been thanked, but been a councilman. Your all support. We want to thank you for the donation.
Well, you're welcome. We thank you all.
And on a personal level, I want to thank you for your tirelessness, your tireless effort of all that you pursue, and
Thank you.
it's nothing short than 100%. And I just want to thank you.
Well, thank you. It's love of community.
Yeah.
And
Just the other day I called and I said, what are you doing? We're changing clothes, going golf. And I said, well, I'd like to talk to you about something. She dropped everything. Both y'all come up. I mean, we got
I'm not much for golf.
I watched you play. But y'all always, even before I got involved, y'all were always involved, and I really appreciate it.
Well,
I can always depend on y'all. I really appreciate it.
There has been a tremendous amount of effort put in by volunteers down through the years to make
There
our
has.
community what it is.
There has.
Through the Garden Club, the Business Professional
Exactly.
Association, and different groups, and we're very fortunate to have people in our community.
everyone volunteer. That's the key. It's love of community and volunteering.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Crossroads Engineer.
Don't worry, gentlemen, it's good news.
He always asks who's delivering the report, and if he sees me, he considers it good news, I guess. If Darren comes up, it's usually something negative, so. No, everything's good this time. We just want to come back. We haven't been for a few months, so we want to come back and tell you we're still working on everything going on. Right now, we had a couple projects that Rick's doing in-house. Those take some time just because, you know, the workforce. But the good thing about those projects, they're all grant funds, so you don't have any loan associated with those, line replacements and things like that. So he asked me in a straighter, and we tested that, got that in service. Alex Avenue is the one he's working on now. So there are several more small lines that need to be replaced and connected, and that's what he'll be working on for the next few months. So that's really about it. We just wanted to come and tell you that we're still thinking about the town and working for you, even if you don't see us from month to month. And I know the fluoride issue come up, so I don't know if you have any questions related to that. We were unaware that that was not in the water system, so we could be glad to address those if you have any questions on it.
That comes up at a lot of the localities we work for, and it surfaces every 5 to 10 years, pretty much at every locality. Would you ever be willing to weigh in on our experiences? And there are grant funds available through the health department for equipment purchases. that money is available through a specialized grant just for fluoridation. But yeah, if there's any particular questions, we can share what we know about it.
And I think later Tim will have a few statistics on the progress that Rick has made this month on that grant project. So, appreciate it, and looking forward to another grant application this fall. Keep improving your system.
Same with y'all before I come. When I come in, they bragged and bragged and bragged. They'll do a great job.
They've done a tremendous benefit for the town over the years. Really appreciate it. We'd be here the rest of the night talking about some of the projects and things that they've done.
Okay, next, town manager report.
Okay, in your packet, you'll see a copy of a letter that's self-explanatory where we sent another copy of the Claypool Hill boundary adjustment request to the county. Some officials said they didn't have the original copy that was sent, so we did send them the second copy. And one other thing that I just got an email, I would have put this on the agenda, but I just got an email, I guess it was yesterday, kind of bringing this to the forefront, is scenic river designation of the Clinch River in Cedar Bluff. You who were on the council about 3 years ago are very familiar with that, because we went through the process of asking the state to come down and survey the Clinch River in Cedar Bluff to see if it qualified for scenic river designation. We scheduled a time and assisted and accommodated the state officials to come down and float the entire river in Cedar Bluff. And they ended up, after they did all the reviews, they approved the Clinch River and Cedar Bluff being eligible for scenic river designation. And at the time, we brought that back to council, and council was 100% on board to proceed with that. But in the meantime, neighboring Richlands had decided to not proceed with it. And the state requires at least 5 contiguous miles to get the designation. We did not have 5 miles in town, so we could not pursue the designation on our own, so we dropped it. I think now Cedar Bluff has rethought that decision. Richlands has rethought that decision, and they want to proceed with scenic river designation. And I think some of them who were opposed last time are the very ones pushing it this time. So I anticipate they'll probably do an about face and request the town to proceed with scenic river designation. Let me just briefly let you know, go over what that means, what it does and what it does not do. Virginia Scenic River designation does require the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission to consider the impact of proposed hydropower or related projects on the designated scenic river, use of the scenic river report. It does require all state agencies to consider the visual, natural, and recreational values of a scenic river in their planning and permitting process. It does give riparian landowners, local citizens, and local governments a greater voice in the planning and implementation of federal and state projects that might affect the river. It does require authorization by the General Assembly for the construction, operation, and or maintenance of a dam or similar structure that will impede the natural flow of the river. It does allow riparian landowners to continue using their land as they did before designation, except for the section 10.407 provision. Scenic river designation does not provide additional authorization to any state agency to condemn land or to acquire real estate or interest therein for the purpose of providing additional access to the river. In fact, the use of the power of eminent domain is specifically prohibited. It does not impose any land use controls or regulations. Land use controls are at the discretion of the locality. DCR, that's the Department of Conservation and Recreation, may assist in the development of river corridor protection measures. Any such measures are implemented at the direction of the local government. It does not affect the riparian landowner's right to use the river or its bank for grazing, irrigation, hunting, fishing, etc. It does not bring any federal control, rules, or regulations. It does not affect tributary streams or branches. It does not promote increases in the recreational use of the river. It does not give the general public the right to use privately owned riparian lands. Landowners maintain all their lawful rights, including the right to post their property against trespass. And it does not impose any restrictions on hunting, fishing, and boating on the river or adjacent lands. So that's just a brief statement on things the designation does and does not do. Russell County has had several miles of the Clinch River in Russell County designated for quite a few years. But there was interest with the town of Tazewell also joining that, and the county of Tazewell in doing the connecting between town of Tazewell and Cedar Bluff, and of course then Cedar Bluff and Richlands. So I think there was quite a bit of interest in those three towns and the county in pursuing this. So at this point, it looks like we will have the miles of Richlands proves that, but we need a resolution. We have to adopt a formal resolution requesting that the state designate the river. And before you consider it, if you like, it's just a small resolution. I'll go ahead and read that proposed resolution. Whereas the Clinch River possesses substantial environmental, historical, cultural, and scenic attributes, and whereas the Clinch River meets state criteria for inclusion into the scenic river system, and whereas scenic river designation is in the public interest, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Cedar Bluff recommends to the Governor and General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Virginia scenic river designation of an approximate 3-mile section of the Clinch River between the eastern corporate limits and the western corporate limits of the Town of Cedar Bluff to be contiguous with a segment of the Clinch River in neighboring jurisdictions.
Need a motion for that?
Yes.
I move that we adopt that resolution.
I second.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
And that's pretty much it.
Can I ask what happened to the slurry thing, coating that was stopped? I know they come down to Old Kentucky and brushed it and set out cones, and all they did was come back and pick them up.
They're supposed to pave Old Kentucky, is what BDOT told me. And that's the reason they stopped that, because it's going to be later on in the summer.
Okay, next is the payment of the bills.
I make a motion to pay the
Second.
Discussion, check number 24972.
Just a second, we can record this motion second, and I'll
Is that Bandy's? Bandiano?
what's the amount of it?
1361.
That was the repair, and the insurance paid us back. You know, that was an insurance claim on the car, town car, that, so we were paid by the insurance company, but that's where we paid Bandy Auto,
What's our deductible?
$250.
Pretty good deal.
Is that it?
Were these checks screened to make sure we're not paying people that owe monies to the town?
I'm not aware.
25016.
25016.
There was like multiple years of personal property taxes on this one, on the list that you gave me today.
What was the number?
25016.
I don't pull those records and look at those. That's something we can look at those, and if council wishes, I can go back and pull records on those, that last group of checks, and check those, but I did not pull the records on those this time.
Okay.
Okay. Ken, did you,
Yeah, you got a second.
okay, go ahead, Ken.
Ken,
You good?
Aye.
Okay.
Yes.
Town department reports.
The police department answered 28 calls this month, issued 3 summonses, and patrolled 256 miles.
water report, Alex Avenue, is that up there?
That's in Bay Bottom. That's part of the grant project.
Install 405 feet 2-inch pipe, 300 feet of 3/4-inch service line, 9 new meters, and a 2T and 2N valve for blow off. And repaired 1 main line leak at Shannon Heights.
And all the first part of that was the VDH project up in Bay Bottom. Yeah.
Good.
Aye.
How did the sickle bar do?
Done really good.
All right, next unfinished business. Everybody? Okay, new business.
There's a couple things I want to talk to this council about, and Jim, I've been listening to Jim. The dump truck, I think it needs some repairs done on it, and also the trash truck. I think that bed is gonna have to be something done about it before too long, or we're gonna be buying another trash, and probably another dump truck.
Okay, now those, Terry's looking for a place to fix it, so those we are, if it's the things that you discussed with me,
Yeah.
we're gonna try to find a local business that can do those. It's gonna require some welding, so we're in the process of doing that.
Trash truck's got a rusted hole in the bottom of it. Lets water out and
Of course, the bed on it needs to be painted, fixed,
Yeah.
I think that requires, what, didn't somebody say it required, then take some more
Which-
sandblasted off?
which I found a guy today that's gonna come down and look at it and tell us how much he will charge to fix it. From right up at Pounded Mill.
We'll get some prices to get it posted.
I got a couple of things I'd like to bring to council. One of them is I'd like to see get our town maintenance building, get it whitewashed, get it painted. Get it look like it's, you know,
Town shop.
yeah, looks like it's cared for a little bit. It's needing some kind of TLC put to it, maybe a flower box or something. But, we definitely, if we could get some white paint put on it. My other concern is our drug policy. I would like for the council as a whole to get them a copy of it, review it, and see if we need to do anything to modify it as far as the language. My concern is the part in there about there's no set boundaries as far as who has drug screens, who don't have drug screens, other than new hires and randoms if we're acting silly. I'd like for the council to look at, so right now it's under the discretion of the town manager. I just want the council as a whole look at it and see if we need to try to streamline that, and that's not the word I want to use, but to make it,
To amend it
to make it cross-board, get it out of, make sure there's no gray area in it where citizens will know that it's a drug policy and we adhere to no drugs in the Cedar Bluff.
and I can get any of you all of you all copies of that, so.
And, you know, if there's any penalties or anything like that, I just want the council to look at it and see if we want to address it as far as the wording of it and so on and so forth, please. That's mine. Thank you.
Along the lines of this business that's not paying the meals tax here in town, I also found out today that they've not purchased a business license in town. And they also have multiple years of personal property taxes that are owed. My understanding is that this meals tax hasn't been paid for multiple years now, along with the business license and the personal property taxes. I guess my question would be, I read over the code of the town regarding that, and there's, to me, I don't know, I guess again, I'll defer to Mr. Carmody. it looks like maybe possibly we need to revisit this thing, to give it a little teeth. After 2 or 3 years of a business, but Jim told us all last month how important the meals tax is to the town, that's revenues to the town that's paid by outsiders rather than our local citizens in a lot of instances. But then for local businesses, basically to provide no revenue to this town while they're making their living in this town, doesn't make any sense to me. I guess my question, Mr. Carmody, would be, do we need to revisit the code that we have to maybe give it some teeth, that it doesn't go this long before the town can do something about it? To me, if you're not paying meals tax, you're not getting a business license, you're not paying personal property taxes in this town, you should not be allowed to be doing business in this town. And it shouldn't take 3 years or longer for that to cease. I mean, Mr. Carmody, I defer to you. I mean, do we need to revisit this to give it some teeth, or to where it doesn't go this long?
In order to try to estimate the amount that the town would have been due, we contacted the Virginia Department of Taxation, excuse me, which is kind of slow about responding, but they finally provided the information that we need to make an assessment within the last couple of weeks. So there's going to be an assessment prepared and served on the business in question, and the demand will be made for that amount to be paid unless they want to file their own tax returns to dispute it.
It did, as you mentioned, take months to get that information from us.
We started a long time ago trying to get the figures from the state.
I noticed that the code section states that they're to maintain records for 2 years, and the town manager at any time can ask to see those records. I mean, can we make it, or do they keep such records as that we, or, my understanding is we've had this problem with this business before.
When you say, do they keep such records, you're asking the wrong person. I don't know what records they keep.
Okay, so we don't have any idea if during this time they
The
were...
records that they turned into the Department of Taxation are the ones that we accessed.
Okay. So, I mean, do we have any, I guess my question would be, maybe sometimes I don't get it out right, I'll try it again. Do we know whether they were collecting the meals tax or not during this time frame?
Do not know.
We do not know. Okay, because it seems to me that if they were collecting this meals tax, that they ought to be holding in trust to turn over to the town, but we're using it to benefit themselves or their business, they may well have a lot more trouble than with back taxes owed to the town of Cedar Bluff.
I understand.
Okay. I hope I think they need to be made to understand that. Okay, that's all I've got, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Any more new business?
Oh, yeah, I do have one more thing, I'm sorry. And I'm going, this is, if you'll pass these down, everybody keep one. These are pictures of a property on 226 Edgewater Drive. I was approached by an adjacent property owner of these.
Clark House,
I'm sorry?
still Clark House.
Yeah. This house is in very ill repair. The pictures you'll see is 2 pictures from the front, one from the left, one from the right. And the one that you can't really tell what is a picture from the rear. The windows are broke out of this house. The front porch, as you can see, is falling in. The grass is 3, 4, 5 foot tall. Just trying to take the pictures. 2 snakes take off through the high grass and everything. I mean, I don't know. Is there anything we can do to try to help these people to where they're not living beside this? I mean, it's a total mess. It's one of the worst properties in this town. To me, it's probably within the top 2. I'm really not familiar with any of the options that we have here, but I would like to try to help these people. If this property was beside anybody in here, I guarantee you'd be complaining.
And they're not, I think the mail comes back if we see the tax tickets aren't paid, and I think the property owner was deceased, so I don't know how we go about maybe tracking down an owner. And Mr. Carmody can keep that.
Well, I guess it depends on what approach you want to take. You know, if the town wants to secure the property or you know, keep it trimmed or whatever, then you can put a lien against the property there at the courthouse for whatever the charges are.
How would we recover that lien?
Well, actually, you can file a lawsuit to enforce the lien against the property and have the court order that it be sold.
This is one of those.
Just like unpaid taxes.
This is one of those properties that I was speaking of a few months ago, where there is, I think, at least 18, 20 some years of back taxes owed on this property. So if we do clean it up and add it, I mean, we should be going after the whole amount, I feel, the back taxes, the amount to upgrade or to clean up the property, everything. But this is a mess.
You know, I'll get with you on what information we got and see if we can do something.
Can I get some kind
You
of?
see these lawsuits from time to time. They never used to get filed, but you see them much more often now. In Tazewell County, Russell County, I've seen them where there's actually a lawsuit filed and an order of publication has to be run because usually the current owners are not known or their whereabouts aren't known. So they have an order of publication that gets posted on the bulletin board there at the courthouse until the time is up, and then after that, you can proceed to get your court order for it to be sold and put into the hands of somebody that may be able to take care of it.
Okay, great.
There were 4 of those kids. Joey, is she still alive?
She was the owner. She's listed as the last owner or last occupant we had.
Okay, then you had Doug, Carol, Lady, there was one, Darryl. I don't know if any of them's alive or not.
Yeah.
They used to make some good music out there.
No more new business. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion.
Doug played by ear.
Make a motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
I have the date too for the kayaking thing. It's on Sunday, June the 25th. So put down on your calendars
At 1:30.
at 1:30 and we'll end approximately 3 or 4:30.
Depending on how far it's
How far you want
and that'll be starting down your field mill and your kids.
I'll have the thing set up tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we gotta really get that out.
Is that what they said?
What I'll do, I'll forward it. I'll get the money and I'll shoot you.
I don't think I'll be going on.
It gets people's attention, the paper will run those. Good, I'll make sure we try to include that same.
Well, any place I've worked, every place I've worked is Indian. And it didn't matter, and it didn't matter